Good evening everybody and welcome to the opening round of the PS4 F1 2017 Esports Championship. Today we are here at the Shanghai International Circuit. I'm Ali Kidd and joining me to take you through all of tonight's proceedings is Alan Cavey.
Everybody, nice to be here today.
Hopefully they'll put on as much of a show as they did in the qualifying session we have just seen. It's going to race on lap 1, but we are ready to go racing in Shanghai. We have 5 red lights for the Chinese Grand Prix. It is lights out and away we go. On board with the Red Bull of Nico Fiore into turn 1 as everybody files off the line. It's a clean getaway from pretty much everybody. Nico covers the inside. Alex is under attack from the second. Ferrari into turn 1. Nico already has a gap. I think Alex has managed to maintain P2 for now. Everybody has made it through the snail section cleanly as far as I can see. Alex has maintained P2. Nico Fiore has maintained the lead of this race. Gemzo is in third as the two Mercedes are going side by side. Alberto and Jaythorn. Jaythorn is going to be on the inside. There appears to be a little bit of contact between them. Jaythorn seems like he's got P5 now as Alberto moves up into P4. Aresi is sitting just behind them in P6. And it appears everybody has made it through the first few corners cleanly with Nico Fiore still in the lead.
I wouldn't say cleanly. I am looking back. There are a couple cars off the pace. I'm looking at the Renault of Tim, and also in the first corner, it looked like the Haas ended up spinning. I'm not exactly sure, but Just Low Aller in 19th is also off the pace. Not exactly sure what happened with those drivers, but it seems to be everyone a single file. I can see a battle brewing up as Just Low Aller has left the session, and now around the outside for 16th, looks like Ali D trying to make the move of a Haas driver. Can't get the move done. I think he's going to wait, like we said, it down the straight. I think this is going to be obviously a very, very good overtaking spot as we're down the straight, every car single file. A lot of slipstream will be made. Obviously, Rich Mix is not available to lap number 3, but multiple drivers trying to make passes, and it looks like the front are pretty clean. Obviously, not many incidents happening up front already, but it seems to be after lap 1. We've got away pretty lucky, to say the least.
Everybody, the top 5, or the whole lead train really, seems to be still in one piece as Alex and Nico Fiore appear to be breaking away slightly. Nico sets the fastest lap of the race. The big question here is, can Alex stay within DRS of that Red Bull? That is going to be crucial for his chances in this race. If he can just sit behind, save his tyres and work his strategy, I think Alex is going to be in with a very strong chance of challenging the F1 Italian for the win in this race, as Gemzo is 1.6 seconds now behind the lead. I imagine he would still be picking up DRS from Alex just in front of him, as the two Mercedes are then next in 4th and 5th with Alberto and Jaythorn. Jaythorn was a bit of a fan favourite, I think, from the comments made before.
I mentioned a couple minutes ago, you said there might be rain. A lot of people telling me in the comments that are in the lobby telling me that there will be heavy rain towards the end of this race, and that'll be overcast in the middle. So obviously right now it's overcast, and actually I think I just jinxed it because right now I see rain falling on our screens, and right now on the hood there is rain falling on the circuit, so rain will play a factor for today's Grand Prix. Yes, definitely. It looks like the top 2 are just pulling away, and again, a lot of the corners that we were talking about with heavy braking, lots of drivers locking up. I mean, it's starting to affect drivers for 5th place, I can see. Aresi making a lunge to the inside of Gemzo. There's still wheel to wheel as we head through the S. The long swooping left-hander back to the right-hander. Aresi's going to try and hang it around the outside. This time we'll have the inside, and right after this, shift down to 5th gear, 4th gear. He's have to shift down 1 more gear as he clears Gemzo for the 5th position. So he is definitely one to look out for, making very, very aggressive attempts at passing people, and he's done a superb job of it so far. So as it looks like right now, you can, because of that, it has enabled the 2 silver arrows to pull away, and it looks like the 5th train is just a sitting duck or a conductor of a train, and it looks like Aresi has a lot of on his plate.
Ferrari's round! Gemzo is gone! He's dropped from 2nd place in this race, and he's now round at that long right-hander. He has spun it in these conditions, and if you needed any proof as to how difficult it was to drive on a wet track with dry tyres, you just got it there. Gemzo has dropped from 6th to 14th. He was at one point running 3rd in this race, just behind Alex, and he's now way down the order, as I can see a Renault in the foreground, making a move down the inside of that Sauber, which I think is Beacott. Harry and Brandon are going side by side into the final corner. I think Beacott has got the move done just for P10, and this train is starting to split up now, as I think that is Aresi making another move, or is it trying to defend from Magic? That's someone else actually. That is Shelly under pressure from Big C, is it? And Shelly's lost a position. Big C is up in 6th place. That is not something I thought I would be saying. Oh, he's 9th actually. These two Williams are confusing me here, as Magic is the one in 6th and Big C is down in 9th at the back of this train. He is still very much in contention for that 6th place though. And let's go back on board, check with the leaders. Oh, they're both going sideways. That nearly looked very costly for both of them. Alex has still stayed within 0.6 of a second of Nico, and if I was to pick one weakness of Alex as a driver, it would definitely be his driving in the wet conditions. We saw several times throughout Season 12 and 13 that he was not the best when the rain started coming down. So hopefully that's a bit different on this game. He has rectified that problem and he can challenge for the victory today. Yes, it is. And none of the leaders, interestingly, have come into the pits. So none of the top 3, Alberto, Alex or Nico, came into the pits on that lap, as Magic is actually getting a front wing change. That is going to be pretty costly for him, and a lot of these drivers are into the pits for intermediate tyres. We haven't seen DRS be disabled yet, whereas J-Thorn, everybody's going to have clear out. Let's go on board with Thorn as he comes through turn 1. Is there any grip? It looks on the edge to me. He seems to be struggling with a lot of understeer. I don't know how that looks to you lot, but to me, I don't think it's quite intermediates just yet. I would have stayed out one more lap. Dry tyres, I believe. Yes, he is, and I think he should be fairly easy work for the other Red Bull just behind him. This is going to be a great comparison, a great visual comparison for us to see whether the intermediates are now faster than the dry tyres, as both of the Red Bulls seem to be struggling for traction on the exit. And yeah, you can just see Nico has breezed past TRL Manu Rodri into turn 6, and I think now it is time for the intermediate tyre. So where did Alex come out in all of that? He is just ahead of Alberto, so Alberto gained a huge amount through those pit stops, and Thorn has actually dropped back a little bit, and he will have 1 lap older tyres than the rest of the guys in front of him, which could be a disadvantage later on in this race, considering that it was probably a little bit too dry as well for the intermediates. Oh, and they're both catching this Red Bull in a very awkward place. Oh, it's going to get very messy with Alberto trying to go around the outside. That could have been very, very nasty, and TRL Manu Rodri on those soft tyres even is going to be really, really struggling in these conditions. Despite the fact Alberto is stuck behind Alex, who we don't... Oh, Alberto's in the pits. Is he? Yeah, Alberto's in the pits. He must have a drive-through, surely. He goes
in the pits as well.
Oh,
he goes in the pits as well.
Full wets. I think people are going for full wets. Wow, the rain has really increased.
I called it.
Nico has pitted for full wets, and you did indeed call it. Nico has gone for the full wet tyres from the lead of the race, and it does appear to be a monsoon at the moment here in Shanghai, but that is a huge call for Nico. He is the first person into the pits. That would indicate very much that it is definitely time for the full wet tyres, as J-Thorn has worked his way past Shelly, and I imagine that Alberto will be doing the same fairly shortly. So Alberto and Nico were the first 2 cars to pit for the wets, and Alberto's actually ended up behind J-Thorn as Alberto makes his way past Shelly fairly easily into turn 6, as Shelly does not fight it too much. I think that was sensible from the Toro Rosso. He knows that is not his battle in this race. But Big C and Alex are still staying out. They've got to pit this lap, surely, unless they've got something in mind that they're trying to take these Inters to the end of the race. Inters are going to be coming back after this full wet period. Who knows? And he's got to just stay with it. And surely Big C is going to be taking the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix as we start lap 22. He's putting Nico under all kinds of pressure into turn 1. Can Big C do anything? He moves to the inside into the snail section. Is he going to get anything done? He's going to have so much more grip than the Red Bull on his outside. And I cannot believe what I am saying. Big C takes the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix in the F1 2017 Esports Series. What is going on in this race? And it's not all over yet. Alex is closing incredibly fast behind, and he is going to have the bit between his teeth trying to catch up to these 2 leaders. He can smell the victory. Surely at this point he can see the Red Bull in front of him. He can probably just about catch sight of this Williams. It is all hotting up in the last few laps here.
I do feel like he can challenge Big C as losing the back, and he has to let off the throttle as he's going to be all over Nico. He's going to be wheel to wheel eventually down the straight. It looks to be these tires are going to be the ones to go on, or wheel to wheel now on lap number 28. And this was a battle we were waiting for to see of the race. We thought it'd be for the lead but it's for P2. Alex is going to go to the inside, and like we just mentioned, Alex will go in at P number 2.
Big C has been on these intermediate tyres, I think, since the first stint. He pitted for these tyres before lap 10, and he has stayed on them for almost the entirety of this race. If he pulls this off, it will be one of the most deserved victories, one of the most incredible strategy calls the world has ever seen. I am fairly sure he's about to come round the final corner to start lap 24. Big C is in the pits. Oh no, he's had to pit. Is Alex going to do the same? He is. They're all pitting. Everybody is into the pits. The two leaders are pitting. What tyres for? That is the big question. It is the super softs. They're back onto the dry tyres. Big C is going for super soft, and it's going to be a straight fight to the end between the Williams of Big C and the Ferrari of Alex. This is going to be incredible. Get your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen. You are about to witness an incredible showdown, let alone in an even more competitive field in the Esports Championship. Jaythorn is about to be gobbled up by Alex, and it's contact between the two of them. Alex squeezes through. What a move. That is crucial to his chances of winning this race. The gap is 3.6 seconds. He will have DRS from the cars in front. Alex has got to push like a madman to close this gap for the lead in the remaining few laps of this Grand Prix. He had DRS from Jaythorn because of the position of the detection point. What is the gap going to be to Big C? How much has he got to close in the remaining 3 laps of this Chinese Grand Prix? Big C is still in the lead, and the tyre difference has been neutralized now. They are on exactly the same compound of tyres, exactly the same distance put on them for both of them, and the gap is down to 3.2 seconds. This is going to get very, very spicy as the lap car lets Alex through in a bit of an awkward place there, actually. The gap is now down to 2.8 seconds. He can see that Williams in front of him. It is so tantalizingly close. They will never have felt anything like this before, fighting for the victory in an F1 esports race. The first time we've ever had esports on an F1 game, and these two are privileged to be fighting for the lead. The first time it has ever happened on the PS4 console. The gap has gone up to 3 seconds. Big C is holding it together so far. This is something else.
The gap is now down to 3.1, so another 10th lost for Alex now, as they're on the penultimate lap headed to the final lap, as it looks like both drivers are maintaining the gap, and actually, believe it or not, Big C weaving down the straight. I think he's just on a little celebration lap before he actually wins this thing. But as we head to this final lap, this will be one of the most crucial ones. Locking up in the hairpin is Big C, like we said, the most heaviest braking point on this circuit. As it seems to be Alex doing everything he can to try and gain time back to Big C, as it looks like we approach this final lap of the Chinese Grand Prix as he goes for the fastest lap. Wow, well done.
And as he goes along the back straight, what have I just witnessed in this race? Drama at the very last, as Alex only has 2 more corners to go in this Grand Prix. He's up in 3rd place. I didn't even notice that. Harry is going to get a podium in this race, is he? In that Renault, up to the line, is going to be P3 for H Racing Green. F1 Italian Magic will be in P4. While we were concentrating on the lead, all of this stuff has been happening behind. Nico is down in P6. Having started on the pole, it has been a disaster for the Red Bull driver. Oh my days. What have I just witnessed?